Hello and welcome to Health Matters on Channels Television. Thanks for staying with us. I am Mary Alale Yusuf. HIV infection has become a manageable chronic health condition, enabling people to live with it, to lead long and healthy lives. Between 2000 and 2018, new HIV infections fell by 37%, and HIV-related deaths fell by 45%, with 13.6 million lives saved due to antiretroviral therapy. Thanks to the efforts of national HIV programs supported by civil society and international development partners. At the end of 2018, 37.9 million people were living with HIV/AIDS. 62% of these received treatment, and 53% achieved viral load suppression. Many living with or affected by HIV have been credited with a large proportion of this success. They still experience alienation from their communities. My guest is a consultant hematologist and head of Department of Hematology and Blood Transfusion at the Lagos University Teaching Hospital, Idi-Araba. You're welcome to the show, Professor Sulaiman Akomo.
Thank you.
It's wonderful to have you again.
I'm happy to be here.
I missed you. Okay, so we're talking about 90-90-90. That is 90% of people who, knowing their status, 90% of them receiving treatment, the 90% of those receiving treatment achieving a viral load suppression. The problem is that we need to achieve this by 2020. That's next year. What is the picture looking like in Nigeria? We're talking about 55% of people receiving treatment. So it's looking bleak, isn't it?
Not so bleak. The problem is that we are not able to monitor the effectiveness of therapy in many of the people who currently happens to be consuming or swallowing antiretroviral drugs. Okay. By the way, it is important to know why they target 90-90-90, that we really want 90% of people that are living with the virus to know that the virus is in their body.
Yes.
And if you know the virus is in your body, we really want as many people that are aware of the presence of the virus in their body to be swallowing antiretroviral drugs. And what we expect the antiretroviral drugs to do if you are taking it correctly. We want a situation where when you are taking this drug, we check your blood and we don't find the virus there. We call it virological suppression. And that is key, very important in the sense that if you are taking the antiretroviral drugs and the virus is not found in your blood, it means you will not be able to transfer that infection to any other person. Okay. And we say you equals you. Undetectable is equal to untransmissible. So if we achieve that goal of 90-90-90 by 2020, and we are able to keep that goal in place for 10 years, we are calculated by the end of the year 2030, we might be able to declare an end to the AIDS epidemic. So the target is that we must be able to achieve this 90-90-90 goal. And many countries have actually achieved that.
Oh, some have. That
in fact, Sweden has 100% target. 100% of people living with the virus know their status. 100% of people who know their status are on treatment, and 100% of people on treatment are virologically suppressed. Okay. And no transmission is going on now in that country.
You have thrown up a lot of issues. So let me go and ask you a very direct question. Let's say we have the U equals U with a certain man. His viral load has been suppressed. It's undetectable. Can he get married and have children based alone on his taking his antiretrovirals religiously?
Yes. Even if it didn't get suppressed, you can get married and still produce children that are not HIV infected.
But how about his
But
wife?
let me just tell you that it is better that we achieve U equals U. Because if you achieve U equals U, and you are a man, you will not be able to infect your uninfected wife.
Excellent.
Or you are a woman, you are not going to be able to infect your uninfected husband.
These things have they been tested?
Oh, this has been proven. In fact, it's the major reason we say there are 4 major goals of antiretroviral therapy. Number 1 goal is that we want you to achieve virological suppression. You are taking it, that is the most important goal. But if you achieve what we call the virological goal, you will be able to achieve what we call immunological goal, because the virus will not be able to destroy your immunity again. That's what we call immune reconstitution or immune recovery.
Okay.
If you achieve immune recovery, you will now be able to achieve the 3rd goal of therapy, which we refer to as the clinical goal, because you now have immunity to fight off all infection. You'll be clinically well. But the 4th goal, which we call epidemiological goal, is the major reason why funders of HIV program are putting money into that program, because they know that for every 1 person that is effectively treated on antiretroviral therapy, 5 to 10 new infections has been prevented in the community.
Okay.
So it's the major reason. So they are giving you the drugs free, you achieve the first 3 goals. But the advantage to the people who are funding the program free is that they are using you as they are using you as a vehicle to prevent further transmission of the virus to them. So 4 goals: virology, immunologic, clinical,
and epidemiologic. All right, so since we've gotten there, I am concerned that we don't have famous faces.
So the direct answer to your question is that you can be married, you are not going to infect your
wife
partner, and you will bear children that are not HIV infected.
That is such a relief. I'm glad we've put that out there.
And be also informed that the spermatozoa is never HIV infectable. The egg in the woman that is going to meet the spermatozoa is also not HIV, because it's not all cells in our body that carry HIV.
Okay.
It is the immunological cell. That's why I'm even saying, even if that individual is not politically suppressed and you have a way of passing the spermatozoa to the egg, your children will come up and they will not become
and they will be negative.
They'll be HIV negative.
I was talking about a face or faces, famous faces of HIV, because we're talking about community involvement. How do you get everybody to come out, as many people as possible to come out, if people are not bold enough to say they are positive?
So that is the problem we have in the country. We are looking for everyone that is living the virus to be known, so we give you treatment. But there's no way we will give you treatment if you don't come out to test and find out you are positive for the virus. We have an estimate in the country now that only about 50 to 60% of people living the virus have been identified.
Okay.
There are about other 40% out there that we don't know.
And a major issue contributing is discrimination.
More than that, number 1, awareness like this is not there.
Okay.
Number 2, everybody is afraid that disease, the stigma that is attached to the disease, to become HIV, to go and do the test, and if I find out I'm HIV infected, how will I live? That stigma is there, and that is where your question is very important. A famous face to HIV. Do we have people in high places who are living with HIV and they are well and nothing is happening to them, who are bold enough to come out and say, look, I wish we didn't lose that celebrity called Fela Adepola Kuti. If we didn't lose him and he has come up and told the world, look, this is the thing, but he didn't have opportunity of receiving HIV before he died.
That's right.
But we haven't gotten somebody that is that famous who will be bold enough. They are out there, but they are not bold enough to honor, and they are living well. I say, when you are on effective antiretroviral therapy, your quality of life is not different from the quality of life that somebody who is HIV negative lives. You are HIV infected and you are a footballer, you will play 90 minutes, you're not tired. You'll be you are even stronger than some of your colleagues who are not HIV infected.
Which means you can work in an office without getting
30
sick.
minutes, you are there. I'm talking about a strenuous activity. You are talking about office work. What concerns me about office work? Because
Very
you're HIV
good.
infected.
Because some people complain that they get dismissed from work when they are found out to be positive.
That is part of the stigma we are talking about. It's not because they cannot work. If you are HIV infected and you are not on therapy and you are so sick, you are so weak, and everybody is like, what is going on here? You better go and check up yourself. And so now, just smear to maybe he or she is HIV infected. That is it.
Okay.
Then the authorities will investigate you and probably, excuse you from work. And that is also out of ignorance. All they need is support. Get this individual to a health facility, let him get tested. If he's HIV infected, let me tell you, HIV kills no one today any longer. And the lifespan of an individual that is living with HIV on an ineffective treatment is not different from the lifespan of people who are HIV negative, meaning that the causes of death in people who are living with HIV infection and are on treatment compare with the causes of death in people who are HIV negative are no longer different. Okay. People will still die, but it is not HIV that is killing people. It is not AIDS. And in fact, we don't even see AIDS again. We're only talking about it.
HIV infections.
It's in the past that we used to see the faces of AIDS. When you allow the virus to damage your immunity, you become so weak and you are now afflicted with a lot of what we refer to as opportunistic illnesses, opportunistic infection, opportunistic cancers. Then that is the face of AIDS. That we no longer see.
Okay, so let's move on to the next thing, what this leads me on to. And that is that perhaps one of the concerns of people, maybe in the office or anywhere else, is that if I'm to keep this HIV positive person on at work, it's going to cost me more money. How free are the medications?
You see, the treatment is available and the treatment is supported by funding agencies in the world. In the public setting, the treatment for HIV is free. I can say 90–95% free, because all the drug that you need to take is available 100% free.
Okay.
But when you are taking this treatment, we need to monitor two things. Number one, the effectiveness of this treatment. Number two, the safety of this treatment. The effectiveness, meaning that the drug is doing what you want it to do. We want you to take the drug and the virus is not found in your body. Now, we also want you to take the drug. We don't want the drug to damage your liver. We don't want the drug to damage your kidney. We don't want the drug to damage your bone marrow. So we do what we call monitoring of toxicity of the drug. So two categories of
Can that
tests.
be done in Nigeria now?
That is what we are doing in Nigeria. The monitoring of effectiveness, in fact, the one that is costliest in monitoring is checking the number of viruses that is present in the blood. Okay. And that is also provided 100% free by funding agencies.
At this point, Prof, we need to take a break. Stay with us. We'll be coming back right after the break. Welcome back. 0805-468-3514 is the number to call if you have a question about HIV, AIDS, and the community. That's 0805-468-3514. You can also tweet your questions at CTV_Mary A. Let me just quickly chip this in, a bit on the side, but let me ask, why is it so important for you to seek permission before you test somebody for HIV? I mean, if I were to walk into a hospital now, nobody asks me, oh, I want to take your vitals now. Is that okay with you? They just take the vitals. Why is it so important?
To touch you for any medical issue, I need your consent. It is wrong, even to take your fighter. I want to check your blood pressure, I want to check your temperature, I want to check your height, your weight, whatever. And I do not seek your permission to touch your body that God Almighty has given to you. It is malpractice. It is not correct. And the subject of testing for HIV is a bigger one because the outcome of the result has far-reaching implications. And because it's a life-changing test that you want to do. You are negative. You see, today, we are even talking about restricting the testing in such a way that when you do it, the person that you are testing is more likely to be positive than be negative, because we do not want to test people indiscriminately. Okay. So you will apply some strict criteria to ensure that if we test about 100 people, we will get about 3 to 5 being positive, rather than testing 1,000 people and finding 0 to 1, being positive. Okay. So this is the way we are, and we must always seek, your consent. And there are direct and indirect of, I can just offer you. You may say, no, I don't want. If you don't want, there's nothing I can do about that. Okay. So you are still a human being, and that must be respected.
That's out there now. Let's talk about some people who might contribute more to the numbers of people who don't come out, our key populations. I'm interested in people who shoot drugs, people who are in prison, IDPs. Do we have, I was reading about the Central African Republic, and they spoke about CAGs, that's communities that people take up the responsibility to move the ART drugs for communities that are difficult to reach. For example, IDP communities are difficult to reach or probably forgotten, but these people take up the responsibility to take their drugs to them so that they don't fall behind in their medications. I think you are
addressing two different issues. I think you are addressing, number one, the drivers of epidemics, the communities where you have large number of people that are likely to test positive and we are not getting them tested.
Yes.
Then the second issue you are addressing is those people that we already know are infected, but we are not able to get treatment to them if they are living in incarcerated places, like they are in prison,
riverine areas.
IDPs.
Yeah.
So that's another thing.
Okay.
That is, those ones are known. How do we get treatment to them? These people are likely to be positive and we're not getting them tested. And I think that is the first thing we should be talking about.
Okay.
And the number one key population, which are drivers of the epidemics, because these are the ones that are actually now transmitting the virus among themselves. Men sleeping with men, okay, the gay people. That is number one. And number two are the adolescents who engage in all sorts of sexual explorations, and they're not, bold enough, or they do not even understand the need to come, because we really understand that this is another group of people that is key to us. And of course, the commercial sex workers, and whether male or female, yes, these are the people. And we really need to be talking about communities who are interested, who have ways, modalities of getting to these key populations.
Let me quickly ask you Abubakar Sani's question before you tackle that. He is asking, can someone contract HIV through kissing?
No, sir. You cannot contract HIV infection through kissing. But there's one potential type of kissing that I've not seen anybody doing it, sticking your tongue into the mouth of somebody and that person bites you and you start to bleed,
so it's the blood.
That has a potential. And we always say, please be careful.
Let's quickly take this call from Agu in Port Harcourt. Hello. Hello, are you there? Agu, please call back again. All right.
So South African people, the people who take medications to hard-to-reach places, that is also being developed in Nigeria.
Okay.
And of course, maybe this January, we will be actually visiting that particular subject in what we have coined in Nigeria as DSD, the differentiated service delivery, the modality of taking HIV treatment to people those who are shy to come to the clinic, those who live in hard-to-reach places, and people who are poor, does not even have money to get themselves, to the clinic. And there are a number of methods out there and of course, those who
Just a minute, let me just butt in. Let's take Chinyere, who is calling. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Chinyere. Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Question.
Oh, okay. I heard you guys saying that the medicine is free. But I think in some states they collect money to administer the drugs. So that's what I'm just calling.
Okay, yeah, we're going to address that right now.
Yes, it's 95% free.
Okay.
Because that drug is 100% free. The test you do to show that the drug is effective in you is 100% free. Some of the tests you do to show that the drug is not damaging your kidney, not damaging your liver, may not be free.
Okay.
And that is the area today. And we're actually looking forward on how to get around
but
that too.
Is it possible that in some states, some people are actually taking some monies they're not supposed to for these tests?
That is not before me, and I don't think there's any. We have over 2,000 facilities in Nigeria that are administering what we refer to as comprehensive HIV services, meaning you are testing, you are administering the drugs, you are monitoring the safety of the drug, and you are funded to be able to do that. And we have several what we call implementing partners that are funded by different funding agencies in Nigeria that are able to do that in over 2,000 facilities.
Okay, let's quickly take Paul. Paul is calling from Delta State. Hi, Paul.
Yeah, good afternoon.
What's your question?
Good afternoon. My question is, he said about monitoring the drugs so that it will not damage the liver of the affected person.
That's correct.
How effective can the people be monitored now that we have shortfall of medical officers?
Oh, okay. That's a good one.
I can assure you that in the over 2,000 facilities in Nigeria where this drug, we call that facility a comprehensive HIV service delivery facility because we know you are able to test, we know you are able to administer the drug, we know you are also able to do this test. And for the facilities that may not be able to have the test, there is the program, what we call the hub and spoke kind of a program, where there must be a very big center around you, around those facilities, where your blood is taken at your facility and they send your blood to the bigger facility where the test is conducted. This has been worked out in Nigeria today. So we recognize that of healthcare workers, but for the HIV program, I think we have really overcome that with the program of hub and spoke methodology of service delivery in our country. So I think what you may have problem with It's even your viral load test, not the test of liver function, not the test of kidney function, not the full blood count, because nearly all facilities are able to do that. And that is why, in fact, the funders of HIV program are not very keen in funding that for you, because it's already something that is in the system, and you're able to do it. But for the viral load and CD4 cell count, that one, the funders are taking responsibility.
Thank you so very much for coming on the program today and making it so plain. Thank you very much. Our time is up. Thank you for being there with us. Have a wonderful day. I am Mary Alale Yusuf.